So we're now going to learn how to draw a coffee cup in Fusion 360. This is a tutorial for people that are absolutely new to Fusion, so I'm going to go through it all very slowly and hopefully point out some areas that people sometimes get wrong so you can avoid those mistakes. So to begin with, let's have a quick look around Fusion. We have here these 9 little squares at the top. If we click on that, we can start a new project. So you can see here I'm actually in a project. I'm in a project called Cup, but I want to get all the way back to home. So I'm going to click here the home button, and then I'm going to click new project, and here you would just name the project that you want to make, but I've already got a project called Cup, so I'm not actually going to create one, so I've got in there, but you could make a project called Cup. And then when you've created it, you'll find that you're working within that project. So now I'm going to close the data panel, and we can see the key elements of Fusion are here. We have the save icon here, so we can save our work. The new folder icon, the new file icon here. We're in the design environment. There's a variety of environments we can work in, but we need to be in design to start with. And then there are even other types here, so solid, surface, sheet, and tools. We want to be in design and in solid for the purpose of what we're doing today. Here we have the browser. If you can't see that, you might need to pull it out like that. The browser lets us do some very important things. Over here we have the view cube, so we can look at our design from different angles, and when we hover over the view cube, we get to see the home button there, which is important. We'll come on to that later. This button here, I've sort of set buttons here, I've no idea what it's called, actually allows us to do different things like change how we view and so on, but we can look at that later on. And down at the bottom here we've got our history, so we can move around the design, around the story, to go back and forth as we need to. So let's begin. The first thing I'm going to do is switch on the origins button here. So it's currently off because the eye is off. So if I switch it off again, come up here, switch on the eye, and that's on. And that allows us to see 3 different views. So this is the floor, as if we're looking down on an object. This is looking at one side, and this is looking at another side. So if you think about it, if you want to look at the front, it's here. If you want to look at the right, it's here. If you want to look at the top, then there's the top here. So we're going to begin drawing on this surface. So what we're going to do is create a new sketch. And we're going to click this surface here, and it's now moved around. You can see we're looking from the top. I'm just going to click Finish Sketch, and I'm going to come down and right-click down here. It's not letting me right-click. Try that again. Right-click. No, I can't right-click. I think maybe the screen recorder software is on top. Let's try it now. Yes, I can right-click now. Now I'm going to click Delete to get rid of that sketch because I didn't need it. So I'm going to show you what sometimes people I've seen do wrong. If their origins are off, they get a little bit lost, and they start creating, and they've clicked here, and then when they've drawn their cup, and don't worry, I'll talk you through all these steps in a second, they've drawn it, and they've accidentally drawn it on the side, like that. So the cup's laying on its side, rather than being in the direction of the cup that we want it. So I'm just going to go back and get rid of all those by just deleting these out. So you can see how easy it is just to click at the bottom and delete out the things we don't want. So now let's start with what we do want. So what I need you to do is to click up the top here, the Create Sketch icon, and make sure you get the floor one, not either of the sides, but the floor here. So you click on the floor, and it's going to spin round, and we can check we're looking down from the top. Great. Now if I want a circle, I can click here. I could even come and click here, or I could just click the C button on the keyboard, and that makes a circle for me. So I go right to the middle, it's going to snap to the middle, and I want to make this 100. So now, if I click Finish Sketch, if yours doesn't spin round, just click the home icon and that makes it spin round. Now I want to pull that up. I want to stretch that out to make it the beginnings of the cup shape. So I could click Extrude, or I could click Press Pull, it does the same thing, or E on my keyboard and I get that extrude. So if I just show that again, cancel that, I can click here and then click on it. I've already got it selected. If you haven't got it selected, or you've got something else selected, it might not get it automatically. If it hasn't, you just click on it and there we go. Click on it and select the area we want like that. So I can either pull up and it makes my shape, or I can type, so I'm going to type 100. Now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click fit. Now I can see everything. So I've got the sort of basic shape, so I can look at that from a few different views. I could look at that from underneath. Now I want to go home, so I can see it from home. Now I want to hollow this out, so I'm going to come up to modify and click on the shell icon. So I'll show you two different ways, and you can click here and you just tell it how wide you would like that wall to be. So if I change that out, there are various different ways, different sizes that could be. So I want mine to be, let's say 5, and that's now made that hollow at 5. I'll show you one more way of doing that. I'm just going to delete this feature. Another way of doing that is if you click O, the letter O for offset, and you click the top, then you click that edge, you can now pull in, oops, you can now pull in, so if I do that as 5 again, but I need to do -5 because you can see here it's made the offset go to the outside, but I want it to come to the inside, so -5. If I click finish sketch, I've now got, I can select this area or that area, and I want to get rid of this area. So E for extrude, select the area I want, and pull it down. Now with this one, unlike the last one, we can control the height we want it to be. So if we remember, we made it 100 tall, so let's come down to 95. It's not going to do that automatically, so I just need to jump in here. And -95. If I haven't got the minus, it'll add material to the top, but I don't want it to do that. I want to do minus. So we've got -95 and a cut operation. Now I could do a new body, and that's now actually made a new part inside there. So if I just show you what we've done, if we come to bodies, and I click, let's click OK first. We've now actually got two bodies. We've got the outer one and the inner one. So see, it's made those two different ones, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to cut. So I can come and I can right click here, edit feature, and I can click cut. So now we've cut down into the body. So the only things left to do is I need to make the handle, and we need to make the handle the right shape and then add some materials to it. So I need to come up to the top to construct and get what's called a tangent plane. Tangent just means next to. So if I switch on my origins again, I don't want any of those, they're not going to be in the right place. I want a plane around here. So I just click on the body and it's made this plane here. Beautiful. So now I add a sketch onto that plane, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle. It's going to be my handle. So if I draw that and I click finish sketch, see we've got a rectangle here. E for extrude, and I'm going to pull that out. How far should we go? 40, 50. We can look from the front. It's probably a bit big, isn't it? Let's make that 40, shall we? Yep, that's looking better for the handle. I click OK. Now it's a bit of a lumpy, ugly handle there. So if I click the fillet tool, so come to the top, fillet, or I could click F, fillet, either of those, I can then click that edge. If we just go to the front to see what we're doing, we can pull that down. We get that shape, and obviously that's not the right shape. I've exaggerated what we're doing there, so let's bring that back up. Shall we maybe go 40? Let's see if that works for us. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to select this edge, press Shift and select the bottom edge. Click front, and we've got these two sides connected. So now if I click fillet, this one, I've got the bottom one selected. I just can't, yeah, I've got them both selected. So now if I do 50, sorry, it's actually clicking this button. So let's try 20. So that's okay, but I think we can go more, can't we? More than, yeah, we can get more than that. So let's try 50. That was too much. 40, how does it look with 40? Too much. 30. 30 is about right, that's pretty good. So I click OK. So now we've got the curve of the handle, but we need to put a hole in the middle of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, create sketch, click on this plane, and I want to make my handle in here. So I'm going to click offset again, click on this edge, and just pull in. Why? Let's make that. Let's try 10. Minus 10. There should have been to come inside. Yeah, minus 10. That's not bad. Let's click OK. Finish sketch. So now we've got a drawing here. You might be ahead of me. E for extrude. Get this. Pull through. So we've cut through. Now we're getting close to the cup, aren't we? That's looking pretty good. But I want to round these edges up. So you might remember F fillet. Get this edge. Get this edge. And then just try out some numbers. Let's try 20. It's telling me 20 is too much. Let's try 10. Yes, and we're getting that kind of curve coming on already. Looks pretty good. So now let's come and get that one. And select these bits here. Did it get that bit? Get that bit here. Maybe try 5. So you can see it's cut into there. So that was too much. Let's try 2. Yeah, 2's worked better there. 2's been acceptable. I can spin round by clicking on the other side of the view cube, and I can click these. I think we can remember that 2. So fillet 2. So it's not liking this for some reason. I'm not sure why. Let's click cancel. Let's solve that. So I think it's because I didn't get all of them, maybe. And it's not. Okay, now let's try 2. Yes, that's worked this time. So it's got those. Perfect. I think I might even do it at the top. So fillet 2. Yes, now we're pretty much there, aren't we? I'll turn off the origins so we can see it. The only thing left to do is to give it some appearance. So if we click A, we can choose the material, A for appearance. And now I can just come down here and choose what I'd like it to be made from. So let's try, let's just scroll up and take a look at the materials we can use. So if we choose paint, glossy, we could choose a colour, so why don't we make it green, like that. So now we've got a beautiful green mug, or we could choose a material, so we could choose like glass, and let's make it out of blue glass, shall we? And you can see with the glass, you can actually see through it. So looking at that from a few different views, just by playing with the view cube, spin it around and see. And that's the power of Fusion. It's so easy to draw exciting and interesting objects. Final thing would be to save that up there, and then we're done.